I mean, I think the most effective storytelling is when the storyteller can figure out a way to put the listener in the mind, in the life of the main character of the story. So for me, it's like the more in my work that I hand over the attention to the other person and let them speak, the better the storytelling is. The less I'm sort of reporting about what they're doing or saying, here's what they're thinking, the more you can let the listener or watcher feel like they are part of it and really connect to people's empathy. That's the best type of storytelling. We're sort of in America, I don't know about the world, but in America, we're at a deficit of empathy. And so for me, the best type of storytelling is when you actually remind people that empathy is a thing you should feel regularly. I mean, I think with the show has evolved over time. The way in which I approach the show, the way I think about the issues has evolved. And I'm very aware now that we're at the place of like, it's not enough to just share the story with someone and say, this is a thing that is happening to this person that they need help with. Now it's about how do I connect you to the way to help them or to help people in your community who are going through the same thing or similar things. It's not enough to just say, isn't this a sad story? Isn't this person going through tough circumstances? What can you do who is watching? What can you do as watching? Figure out how to help. Doesn't mean you can help solve everybody's issue. Doesn't mean you have to give all your money to them. Although if you're one of those people who has a lot of money, you can give all your money to them. But it's just like give, like, what can you do? Not only is empathy important, but also engagement is important. And a lot of times we talk about engagement as a way to like, they clicked on the thing, it's in a sort of a commercial way. But I mean like human engagement. How can you stop watching this show and look around you and go, what can I do about this? I mean, I've talked to so many people and all of them impacted me in some way, obviously, some more than others. And I've talked to people at the highest levels of society as far as the way we judge that through money, and at people who are struggling, like homeless people in Los Angeles. So I've talked to, lots of different versions of American humanity. But the first season, we did an episode about San Quentin Prison, about men who were lifers in prison in San Quentin. And that was an episode that I went into with a very preconceived notion of what prison is, and was really afraid that two things. One, that I would make them look bad in a way that wouldn't help them, and because there's a lot of like prison propaganda out there that just sort of look at how scary and bad these people are. And then I was also worried that they wouldn't take me seriously as somebody who was worth talking to, because I was a comedian from a news network coming in to talk to them about their lives. But from the very first moments I stepped into that space on the yard, the very traditional yard we've seen in all the movies, a guy was like, "Hey, love your comedy, bro." And I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And so that moment I settled down. And I think once I settled down, I was better able to be in that space and realize I'm a human, they are humans. Some of them know me, some of them don't, but they're not all one thing. I shouldn't assume they're judging me. And then I've, and talked to a guy named Hassan Thomas, who I went back to San Quentin and co-hosted a talent show with him and went back and screened the episode of the show there, and to hear them respond, hear the inmates who have been in the show respond to seeing themselves, their stories on camera, and hear them laugh at things that nobody else is going to laugh at because it's about their lives. It was really impactful and made me think about prison in a different way. And also I stayed in touch with Rasan and also the people around him. And recently the governor of California just commuted his sentence. So he's probably going to get out soon. And it's like, he did a lot of things. He hosts a podcast called Ear Hustle. He's a journalist at the San Quentin News. But I feel in some way like a small part of showing him as a three-dimensional human and not just a number in prison. I mean, the biggest thing that people have to learn how to do when they're dealing with sensitive topics and talking to people who have issues that they are sensitive about is how to shut up. And the back half of shutting up, first you got to shut up and then you got to listen. So you can't just shut up and wait to talk. We do a lot of shutting up and waiting to talk in this culture. But you got to shut up and listen and respond to what they're saying, even if what they're saying is not what you want them to say or expect them to say. I think a lot of times we shut up and wait to talk, and then the thing we respond to, they haven't even said, or they haven't said in the way you think they're saying it, and you're waiting for buzzwords. And really the idea is like, no, actually listen. And it also helps to repeat back to them what they said and go, is this what you were saying? To make sure you even understand it. Because I think sometimes we come from such different contexts, we're not really capable of understanding the nuance of other people outside of our communities. And so it's important to learn that you have to learn how to be a listener in the same way you have to learn how to do anything. And I think a lot of people think just because we have ears, we know how to listen. That's not how it works. Ears just mean maybe you're capable of hearing, but it doesn't mean you're capable of listening. Listening happens somewhere in the brain.